then one other more obvious challenge that we see is that there's typically not just a handful, but a whole bunch, right? There's whole Slack channels and direct and multi-direct conversations. There's Teams conversations. There's, so all of this, screenshotting all of that would obviously be more burdensome than actually going through, another process. So what we see here are becoming more common in data requests than just traditional email and documents. And so what we're finding, I'd love to hear from the panel here, because this is that expansion into practical applications of pulling in this data, for your cases. And so, Jerry, let's start with you on these common data requests. What are you seeing more and more as part of your practice in getting after this data?
Yeah, when I look at this list, I tend to think, hey, these aren't very hard to fetch, but fetching the data isn't the entire, the entire solution. You want to have whoever's processing this data workflows, pre-established workflows, so that it minimizes any manual post-processing after collection. So you can see here there's a combination of file types. So I look at the photos and videos, bullet point 2 and 3, and look at that as native multimedia. But everything else on this list is essentially structured data. And the structured data doesn't necessarily come out in the same format. We'll discuss that later. But given the variety of these file types, it's easy enough to capture, but you have to rationalize it and harmonize it into a review platform that has some commonality to the review process. And I think traditionally we're shoehorning this into documents.
Totally right. Erin, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, agree. And I think that this specifically kind of highlights what Alicia had mentioned earlier about the idea of 80% of data being structured data, here in the near future. And I think that this absolutely gives credence to that, and would agree that I think at this point, we're probably collecting mobile devices, cloud accounts at probably a 2 to 3 time more frequent clip than we are a computer. And I think that really kind of lends itself to this idea that we are moving to a much more structured data environment. I think it also kind of reiterates the idea with the idea of screenshotting text messages of, I think the thing that you have to keep in mind is, where does it end? If you're going to self-collect on a text message level, at least in the experience that I've seen, if you start cutting corners in one place, you're apt to have clients say, well, we can just do this here. And it can become a snowball. So you got to be really careful with that. In particular, in today's world where we really do have this entire intermingling of data sources and multiple areas that we really need to collect from to get a full investigative idea of what happened.